It began with a sermon. In the chill of November 1095, Pope Urban II stood before a crowd in Clermont, France. His words thundered with urgency. He spoke of Christians in the East under attack, of holy lands defiled, of Jerusalem, sacred to millions, under Muslim control. He called upon knights and kings, lords and peasants, to take up arms, to march east, to fight for God. But he offered more than righteousness. He offered salvation, a pardon for sins, a guaranteed place in heaven, earned not through prayer, but through war. And so the First Crusade began, a holy mission, a brutal campaign, a journey that would leave the world changed forever. Chapter 1. The People's Crusade. Before armies could be assembled, the faithful surged forward, led by Peter the Hermit, a fiery preacher with no sword, but boundless charisma. Tens of thousands of commoners set out from Europe. Farmers, fishermen, mothers carrying children, all walking eastward under the sign of the cross. They lacked weapons. They lacked discipline, but they carried something stronger, belief. It ended in disaster. They were massacred by Turkish forces in Anatolia, untrained, disorganized, and unprepared for real war. Many starved, many more died, and along the way, they left blood of their own behind, massacring Jewish communities in the Rhineland. Tens of thousands of innocents killed by those who claimed to be on a mission from God. Chapter 2. Siege of Jerusalem. In 1099, the Knights of the First Crusade reached Jerusalem. They had marched for years, crossed mountains, deserts, and war-torn cities. Now the holy city stood before them, walled, fortified, and defended. The siege lasted weeks. When the gates fell, the slaughter began. Crusaders stormed the city with no mercy. Men, women, and children were cut down in the streets. Muslims, Jews, even Eastern Christians were not spared. Chroniclers describe the blood flowing through the Temple Mount, as high as a man's ankles. Jerusalem was taken, and Europe rejoiced. But for the people of the East, it was not a victory. It was a massacre. Chapter 3. A kingdom in the East. The Crusaders did not return home. They carved out their own states. Crusader kingdoms with castles, courts, and European rule in foreign lands. They built fortresses like Croc de Chevaliers and the Citadel of Raymond. They married local women. They imposed Western laws. But they were surrounded, outnumbered, and despised. The Muslim world, once divided, began to unite. A slow-burning storm was gathering. Chapter 4. Saladin and the Rise of Resistance. In the late 12th century, a new leader emerged. Saladin Yusuf ibn Ayyub. The West would call him Saladin. He was Kurdish, educated, relentless in war, but merciful in victory. He united Muslim forces across Egypt, Syria, and Mesopotamia. In 1187, at the Battle of Hattin, he crushed the Crusader army. He captured their relics, their banners, even their king. Soon after, Jerusalem fell. But this time, there was no massacre. Saladin allowed Christians to leave peacefully. He ransomed the rich. He released the poor. His chivalry became legend. Even in Europe, he was admired as a noble enemy. Chapter 5. The Later Crusades. The fall of Jerusalem shocked the West. A new wave of crusades followed. Richard the Lionheart of England, Philip of France, Emperor Frederick Barbarossa of Germany. They led massive armies back to the Holy Land. But politics, disease, and betrayal tore them apart. Jerusalem remained in Muslim hands. The Fourth Crusade never even reached the Holy Land. Instead, in 1204, Crusaders sacked Constantinople, the Christian capital of the Byzantine Empire. They looted churches, burned libraries, stole relics. One Christian army, destroying another Christian city, all in the name of profit. Chapter 6. Decline and Legacy. By the 13th century, the crusading spirit had faded. Europe was weary. The Holy Land was lost. The last Crusader fortress, Acre, fell in 1291. The dream of a Christian kingdom in Jerusalem was over, but the damage had been done. The Crusades left scars that lasted centuries. They widened the rift between East and West. between Christianity and Islam. They inspired hatred and fear. Even today, the word crusade echoes in political speeches, in wars, in division. What began as a mission of faith became a legacy of fire and blood. They called it holy. They believed it righteous. But the Crusades were not a path to peace. They were a path to conquest, a story of kings and popes, of knights and sultans, but also of the forgotten, the villagers, the children, the millions caught in the shadow of faith and steel. History remembers the banners, the castles, the victories, but behind every march, there was a trail of broken lives. This was the true story of the Crusades. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more history. Dark, real, and unforgettable.